Hi everyone! Our lesson for today is about the sum and product of quadratic equation. So, paano nga ba natin kukunin ang sum and product ng quadratic equation? To deepen our understanding on how to solve the sum and product of quadratic equation, so let's try to solve the given example. Example: what is the sum and the product of the quadratic equation x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0? But before we solve the sum and the product of the quadratic equation, so ano yung una natin kailangan gawin? Since we have here the given equation, the first thing that we need to do is to find out the value for x. So, kailangan muna natin kunin ang value ni x. So, there are 4 methods that we can use to find out the value for x. So, ano-ano nga ba yung method na kailangan natin or pwede natin gamitin para makuha natin ang value ni x? So, the first method that we can use is extracting square roots. Next is factoring. Next is completing the square. And last is the quadratic formula. So, ayan yung 4 na method na pwede natin gamitin para makuha natin ang value ni x. Now, in this case, ang gagamitin natin is factoring. So, given the quadratic equation x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0, let's factor the given equation to find out the value for x. Let's start factoring. Ano nga ba ang madaling way para ma-factor natin or ma-identify natin ang factor ng quadratic equation? So, the first thing that we need to do is to identify the factor of the first term and the last term. So, yun lang yung gagamitin natin para makakuha ang factor ng given equation. Okay, so let's find out the factor for x squared. So, that is x times x. And identify the factor for the last term. Our last term is 4. Now, what is the factor of 4 na kapag pinag-multiply natin, the answer is 4. Pero kapag pinag-add natin, ang answer ay 5. So, yun yung magiging value ng middle term. So, the only factor that we can use sa last term ay 1 and 4. So, 1 times 4 is equal to 4. And 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. Okay. Now, let's find out what is the operation that we can use here. Okay, so as you can see, meron tayong dalawang positive sign or ang operation na ginamit natin sa ating quadratic equation ay positive. So, since ang operation ay positive, therefore, the operation that we can use here sa ating factor is positive din. Okay, so let's equate this into 0. Therefore, we have here x plus 1 equals 0 and x plus 4 equals 0. So, after natin ma-equate ang given factor kay 0, so, kailangan natin kunin ang value ni x. So, paano natin makukuha ang value ni x? Ililipat natin si 1 sa kabilang side ng given equation. So, kapag nilipat natin si 1 sa kabilang side ng equation, ang ating positive ay magiging negative. So, therefore, we have here x will become equal to negative 1. So, nung nilipat natin si 1 sa kabilang side ng equation, siya ay naging negative 1. Next, x plus 4 equals 0. Let's identify the value. Ililipat ulit natin si 4 sa kabilang side ng equation. So, siya ay magiging, so, positive will become equal to negative. Therefore, the value for x here is negative 1 and negative 4. Okay, so since may value na tayo ni x, so, madali na nating makukuha ang sum and product ng quadratic equation. Okay, so let's solve the sum and the product of the quadratic equation. So, let's proceed first for the sum of the roots. From the word sum means positive. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan nating ipag-add sum pagsamahin natin or i-add natin. Okay, the formula that we can use for the sum of the roots is x sub 1 plus x sub 2. Okay, so what is the value for x sub 1? We have here negative 1, and the value for x sub 2 is negative 4. Now, what we're going to do is to substitute the value. So, substitute lang natin, it will become equal to negative 1 plus negative 4. So as you can see, the operation that we're using here is positive. Since beside the positive sign, there is a negative, so kailangan muna nating i-simplify ang positive and negative sign before we proceed solving the sum of the roots. Positive times negative, it will become negative. That's why it will become negative 1 minus 4. Okay, so next, since pareho tayo or pareho ang lumabas na sign, so meron tayong negative 1 minus 4, what we're going to do here is to combine. Pagsamahin natin ang value and remain the sign. So it will become negative 5. The sum of the roots of quadratic equation x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0 is negative 5. Now, let's proceed. Identify the product of the quadratic equation. From the word product means we need to multiply. So, the formula that we can use to identify the product of the roots is x sub 1 times x sub 2. Okay, substitute the value. Negative 1 times negative 4. So, sabi natin, when we are multiplying negative to negative, the answer will become equal to positive. So, negative 1 times negative 4, it will become equal to positive 4. Therefore, the sum and the product of the roots of the quadratic equation x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0 are negative 5 and positive 4. There is an easiest way in solving the value of sum and product of a quadratic equation. Using the given equation, x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0, here are the easiest formula. So, for the sum of the roots, we have here negative b over a. That is the formula that we need to use to find out the sum of the roots. So, what do you think is the sum of the roots when we use the formula negative b over a? So, based sa ating discussion about quadratic equation, a, b, and c is the coefficient of each term in a quadratic equation. Okay, so let's substitute the values. So, we have here x sub 1 plus x sub 2 is equal to, copy negative sign and put the value for b. So, ang value natin ng b ay 5. That's why it will become negative 5 over the value for a is equal to 1, which is makikita natin kay x squared. So, let's divide it. Negative 5 divided by positive, the answer is negative 5. So, negative 5 divided by 1 is equal to negative 5. So, therefore, the sum of the roots of the quadratic equation is equal to negative 5. Next, product of the roots. So, the formula that we can use for the product of the roots is c over a. Now, let's solve the product of the roots. Substitute the value for c and a. So, we have here x sub 1 times x sub 2 equals 4, which is the last term, and 1, which is the first term. So, 4 divided by 1, the answer is equal to 4. Therefore, the sum of the roots and the product of the roots of the quadratic equation x squared plus 5x plus 4 equals 0 are negative 5 and positive 4. So, kung mapapansin nyo, sa ating unang solution, the value for the sum of the roots sa ating unang solution is negative 5, and the product of the roots is positive 4. So, as you can see, parehas ng lumabas na value ng sum and product of the roots. So, it means, pwede natin gamitin alinman sa given formula para mas ma-identify natin or mas madali nating ma-solve ang sum and product ng quadratic equation. Another example, x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. Now, let's find the sum of the roots of the quadratic equation. So, let's substitute the value for b and a. So, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 equals copy negative sign and substitute the value for b. So, the value for b is negative 4. So, let's put negative 4 over the value for a equals 1. Let's simplify first the numerator. Negative times negative 4. So, it is equal to 4 over 1. Now, let's divide 4 divided by 1. So, the answer is 4. Next, let's find out the product of the roots. So, c over a, substitute the value. C is equal to 4 and a is equal to 1. So, let's divide it. 4 divided by 1, the answer is 4. So, therefore, the sum and the product of the roots of the quadratic equation x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 0 is 4. Another example. There are some cases na given ang value ng roots, what we're going to do is to identify the quadratic equation. Okay, so let's try to solve the given example. Given the roots 3 and negative 2, write the quadratic equation. Okay, so sabi natin, since 3 and negative 2 are the roots of a quadratic equation, so we can say that x is equal to 3 and x is equal to negative 2. Okay, so anong gagawin natin dito? Isosolve natin siya ng pabalik para ma-identify ang quadratic equation. So, using APE, we need to equate this into 0. Si 3, ililipat natin sa left side ng equation. So, it will become negative 3 dapat. So, using APE, it will become x minus 3 equals 3 minus 3. So, nag-add tayo ng negative 3 both side of the given equation para ma-cancel out si 3 at maging 0. So, let's subtract 3 minus 3. So, it will become x minus 3 equals 0. Next, equate x equals negative 2 into 0. So, negative 2, kailangan nating ilipat sa left side ng given equation at si negative 2 ay gawing 0. Using APE, let's put positive 2 both sides of the given equation. So, it will become x plus 2 equals negative 2 plus 2. Okay, so let's subtract negative 2 plus 2. So, the answer is x plus 2 equals 0. After we found out the factor, what we're going to do is to use the FOIL method. So, we have here now x minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. So, let's use FOIL method. X times x for the first term is equal to x squared. X times 2 for the outer term, x times 2 for the outer term, the answer is positive 2x. Next, I for the inner term, negative 3 times x is equal to negative 3x. And negative 3 times 2, the answer is negative 6 equals 0. So, after we expand the factors, what we're going to do is to combine like terms. Pagsamahin natin ang magkaparehas ang variable at magkaparehas ang exponent. So, ang magkaparehas lang natin dito ay si 2x and 3x. So, anong gagawin natin sa hindi magagalaw? Just copy. So, x squared, simplify 2x minus 3x. So, 2x minus 3x, the answer is negative x. Copy negative 6 equals 0. So, therefore, the quadratic equation of the roots 3 and negative 2 is x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. So that ends our lesson for today. I hope you understand our discussion. Now it's your turn to answer the given equation that you have. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, just hit the like button, share, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to notify for the next lesson.